Welcome back to another episode of The Scoop Around the Loop. We have had beautiful weather. How's everyone's week going?
Good.
Amazing so far.
Tyler?
So far, so good.
Brady?
What's so funny, Thomas?
Brady, you're muted.
Yeah, before we go live, we should next time.
We are live.
No, I know. Next time we go live, we should talk about who's responding to your opening question first.
You know, with this many people, we should probably organize that a little better. So I'll work on that next time. All right, a little bit of a local news, kind of. Des Moines Register put out an article highlighting some under $300 flights you could get from Des Moines that are direct flights. And I think this kind of ties in with what we talked about last week as far as fun weekend vacations that you could possibly take and not get too crazy with it. So I thought it would be kind of fun for us to look at the list and everyone pick the flight that is most appealing to them. Tyler, you were on pretty early. You already got to look at the list. Did you want to go first? What flight's most appealing to you?
Yeah, I would say that this, again, like Thomas said, this is from a Des Moines Register article. If you were to get on Google, you can find even cheaper flights than this, depending on the day, obviously, and the location. From this list, Las Vegas seems a lot of fun. I'd like to go back to Vegas. I've only been there one time, and we were only there for like 24 hours before we drove to Utah. But the Broncos play there once a year, and there's obviously a whole bunch of stuff to do. So that's an option. Columbia, South Carolina kind of stands out to me as well. There's a lot to do in South Carolina, and I feel like that's just kind of a unique destination that is unique, not unique to Des Moines, but a lot of airports can't just go and fly to Columbia, South Carolina. So if you have family in South Carolina like we do, that could be a good option. And then that Appleton, Wisconsin, my best friend lives in Green Bay. 294 is a little bit steep. Appleton's like 30 minutes south of Green Bay for me to drive up there. But
are these round trip?
Round trip.
If that number gets below like 250 and I'm going to be going up to Green Bay to see my buddy, I would definitely hop on that flight.
Daniela, you're the one that travels the most out of this group. Any of these places appealing to you?
Honestly, Denver, the price seems very appealing. And it's summer, so it's perfect to go to like a concert in maybe Red Rocks. You're super close, drive there. Another tip, if you guys didn't know, if you fly to Chicago and then you fly internationally, right now the prices for Chicago are very, very nice. You can save around $500 because international flights from Chicago are cheaper.
You book a separate ticket to Chicago and then start a whole new boarding process as if you were
right.
Like when you're buying your tickets. I got you. That is a good tip.
I normally save like $500 to $600 leaving from Chicago.
Okay.
That's a great tip.
Now,
I also heard, and I haven't had a chance to actually look into it, but I have some friends coming up here from Houston for my 30th birthday on August 10th, and they were saying that they booked tickets already, and knowing them, they like to wait till the last minute to book them because Southwest is offering 50% off for like the next 4 or 5 months on certain flights. I haven't had a chance to look into that, but that's what they claimed. And again, they booked them, so they must have gotten some type of deal. I don't know if they have a Southwest credit card or anything like that, but something to maybe do.
Let's get sidetracked really quick here because I want to test how Midwestern Tyler, Brady, and Andrew are. You're going to Denver, and you see that price, $286. Let's assume it's $286 for round trip. Are you still driving, or are you going to fly?
Depends how many people are flying with you.
Yeah, it all depends, to be honest with you, because it is really nice to have your own car in Denver because everything is so far away from, if you're just – I'm more tempted to pay that price if I'm just going out there for a weekend and going to an event downtown like a Broncos game or a Nuggets game or something like that. But again, the thing with driving to Nebraska at this point, and I know Andrew can do the same thing, I can literally name every single town above 1,000 people off the highway on the way to Denver from here. Like,
Just because of how many times you've done that drive.
every single spot is calculated. Like, I could put a podcast on, and like, when this is done, I'll be to Kearney, Nebraska.
Brady, you driving or flying?
When we've gone to Colorado, we've only drove, I think. Yeah, we've only drove. So, I mean, kind of like they said, if it's just a weekend trip, I think I definitely would go for the flight. But if it's a longer time, having a car would be nice. So.
Andrew?
Yeah, I think like we drove to Myrtle Beach last fall, which is 20 hours ish both ways or each way. And to be honest with you, like that kind of went quick because you're driving through all these big cities. Because once you go further east, like everything's, there's just a lot more population. Driving to Denver, it's half that time. But yeah, like to Tyler's point, you see these towns along the way, but they're every hour you see a town. And it's literally like an hour, I think, from each, like Lincoln to Kearney to North Platte to Grand Island, or probably the other way around. But Ogallala. But so drive, but yeah, like Tyler said, like once you're in Denver, let's talk about this real quick, because I hear all the time property taxes in Denver and Colorado are so low, but it takes forever to get anywhere around there. So you need a vehicle. And yeah, so since you avoided Mike asking me about which flight I would use,
I was gonna get to it. We have you and you have Brady. What's your flight you would take?
Denver.
No,
I'm just
I will also add to that,
I mean, like Jesse and I have talked about going to Vegas, just like the two of us for like a weekend, that kind of thing.
The Sphere.
Phoenix, I think, might be kind of fun. But when you have 5 people, you're paying for it's a little different. So just like I said, it all depends on who you're bringing with you.
You can definitely get a flight cheaper to Denver than that too. I know prices are inflated, but if you're flexible on when you want to go or whatever,
United Airlines is not the cheap flight out of to Denver. It's Frontier,
Legion or Southwest.
I will also say too, if you're gonna get really crazy, the flights out of Omaha tend to be cheaper than Des Moines too.
Yeah, we've done that, flying to Portland.
Drive to Omaha, eat dinner at Laszlo's, say hey to our cousin TC who runs that joint. Stay the night, whatever. Make it a day, and then fly to Omaha. And when you come back, eat at Laszlo's again, and go home.
Brady, what one is appealing to you?
Phoenix sticks out to me. My parents had a chance to go to Arizona for my sister's gymnastics meet earlier this year, and I couldn't go, but they said there's just so much stuff to do, and I think it'd be really cool. Probably not go in the summer, though, when it's 110 degrees, but I think it'd be cool. I have a couple buddies that go just any of the colleges there, Grand Canyon, Arizona State, so I think it'd be cool to visit that place.
I'm a little surprised that Appleton, Wisconsin got mentioned before going to San Diego. Not a single one of you guys wants to go to San Diego?
It's the best climate in the world, at least in the U.S., I guess.
Yeah. I know that the San Diego Zoo has a bunch of koalas. I'd go there to see those guys.
My fiance just went to the Omaha Zoo like 2 weekends ago, and apparently they added an extension that makes them bigger than the San Diego Zoo now. So that Cold War of zoos. Yeah. So Omaha Zoo is the biggest one in the United States. San Diego.
How come Jen didn't want to go with you?
I had to get home to do my job. So
Thomas is a zoo animal.
What's your favorite zoo animal?
When flying out of Omaha, the worst part about that is when you come back, you have to drive 2 hours home. And then I always feel like one of these small town people that you'll get to talking to in the Des Moines airport. And they're like, yeah, I'm from Fort Dodge or whatever. And then when I'm talking to them and I'm just driving home from the Des Moines airport, in my head, I'm like, haha, but when you fly into Omaha, you have to kind of And
You are
depending on
that.
the time and delays and stuff like that, it can be really, really annoying and tiresome to do that. So
It
something
is
with Omaha is the coming back, going to Omaha, driving to Omaha. That's all good because you're excited and ready to go on vacation. But
the little bit of the discount has never made sense for me, but I have always noticed that Omaha is cheaper.
There's a trade-off, right? Like you're either you're paying with time or you're paying with money. I mean, you're putting wear and tear in your vehicle, you're paying for gas, all that stuff. I mean, it's
yeah, I've flown out of Omaha 3 times, and 2 of them were with my mom, and my mom is like a penny pincher, so it makes sense.
we flew out of Omaha. It was shortly after 9/11. And my dad, my uncle, and I were the only ones that had one-way tickets on there because we were meeting everyone else out there. Tyler was probably already out there, and then we were driving back, and they searched me like 3 times as like a 17-year-old kid because that was like their policy. If you had a one-way ticket, they were searching you.
Oh,
Like
okay.
right there at the gate. You know, they're going through your stuff. So I don't like Omaha for that reason.
Okay. Let's talk about stuff that Andrew does like. It is National Donut Day tomorrow. Andrew, do you want to?
I don't like donuts. I mean, I'll eat them. Tyler loves donuts. I should put that picture up. I like people to be happy, you know. So
You want to talk about what your page is doing, and then if you have a donut spot you want to shout out, this would be a good
Is it
time.
your page doing it too?
Yeah, but no one's commenting on mine. So
I know no one's commenting on ours. So
I've had people message me. So
did you tell them that defeats the purpose of the post?
I think I also said message me. I think it goes without saying Montessori Children's House is getting a dozen.
Do they have school right now?
Yeah, they do. They have summer camp.
Do you want to talk about what you guys are doing?
Tyler's literally working Ryder's literally working right now. Yeah, it's National Donut Day, so that's reason to celebrate, right? 6/6. We're gonna we should do a half a dozen. That would make more sense. Anyways, we're doing a dozen donuts to 3 or 4 workplaces. Just for fun. Also, we're leaving our branding materials there, so we're gonna look for places that have people in them. Just be aware.
Here's something we could do. We could do like a Russian roulette and put something in one of the donuts and say either eat one of these donuts and one of you guys will be unlucky, or sign this buyer's agency and we'll tell you which donut not to eat.
Yeah, put like shards of glass in one.
So
this is weird.
You brought it up. So anyways, we like to get, I think bottom line, some agents like to hoard all the money for themselves. We like to spread it around. We like to give back to our community, and just spread the love. And so, obviously we did that with our Memorial Day Girl Out. It's free to everyone. This is just something we're doing it's Friday. Let's go have a good day and eat some donuts. I don't hate donuts. It's just one of those foods that I can say no to. And when I say yes to it, though, like I gain like 4 pounds for eating like half a donut. So I can say no to it. If you brought a charcuterie board, Jimmy John sandwiches into the office, like they'll be gone. But you bring donuts, they'll sit there. But other people love donuts. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Tommy. Tommy was in the office earlier, by the way.
Eating donuts?
No, he was wearing purple Crocs, and he tried to get out of here before I saw it, I think.
Do you want to say what your favorite donut place is, or do you have one?
I'm on a roll, man. Well, we all so what my family does is every birthday we get donuts. Our anniversary, like Jesse and I's anniversary, I'll get donuts for the kids. And Jesse really. Hertz Donuts used to be like our go-to, but we just figured out that we never eat them because they're way too filling and rich and all that. But they love just like the good old Krispy Kreme. The Krispy Kreme by our house got caught on fire, so we haven't been there as much. But Quick Star's got Elite Donuts. They have like Hertz style donuts there. But I know Tyler we've gone to what is that place by your Beaverdale house? Donut Land?
Huh?
Donut
King.
Land?
Donut
Donut
Hut.
King?
Donut Hut.
Donut Hut? All one of those.
Donut Hut.
Those
It's
are good
Donut
too.
Hut. Donut King used to be right up by my house. That's been long gone though. Tyler, what's your favorite donut
It's pretty
spot?
affordable too.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like $1.50 for a donut or something.
It's just like those old school bakeries. Like it's just kind of, you don't go there for the brand new tables. You go there for the donuts.
Tyler, what's your favorite donut spot?
Donut Hut, probably. That my wife grew up in the Lower Beaver neighborhood, and that's like a delicacy. Like Donut Hut sponsors everything Hoover High School. She knows I want to say he's at least like half Indian or Middle Eastern guy that owns the place. She walks in and he's like, "Hi, Hannah," all that stuff. So yeah, I got to go there for sure.
Brady, you got a spot?
I like Donut Land in Johnston. It's new. It's really good.
That's by the Home Depot, right? Right off the interstate.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But Remax Concepts office.
No, it's a Remax Real Estate Center.
Oh,
They got a good cherry donut and blueberry donut if you're into that.
Okay. Daniela, you got a spot?
Freaky.
I'm kind of like Andrew. I don't love donuts that much, but I will get a donut. I will eat a donut if it is free. Tomorrow, I know Dunkin' Donuts, it's giving you donuts with a drink for free. So I will eat it if it's free, but otherwise, I don't go and buy donuts.
Are you guys want to go with? You guys want to go with me tomorrow? We can drop these off.
Depends on what time, but yes.
Dude, what time do you want to go, Thomas?
I don't know. Let me look at my schedule.
You tell me what time. Probably in the morning.
Does Ecuador have a version of a donut where it's like a breakfast food, a sweet breakfast food that people, bring to, you know what I mean? Is there an equivalent?
A breakfast pastry?
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking for.
There you go. Yeah, I think we do. We do. I'm not just like a super sweet person. Like, I don't like tons of sweets. But yeah, we have a lot of donuts like desserts and pastries.
All right, so I got a take here. For being called Dunkin' Donuts, I think Dunkin' Donuts is terrible.
I was about to say it too.
Okay, thank you.
How is donut in your name and you never have donuts?
They barely ever have a good selection, and they're not good.
And they're stale.
Yeah. So
okay, I need to try a donut on all of these other places that you guys
go to Donut Hut. That's the spot. I'm telling you.
It's a good spot.
What's the flavor of donut that I should try though?
I low-key love Casey's
Blueberry.
Cake Donuts.
Okay.
They're really good.
That was our grandpa's favorite.
And then Hy-Vee used to bake theirs fresh in the store, and they don't do that anymore, and it's just never been the same.
I agree.
Tyler, do you think that you could do a blind taste test and know where the donut came from?
Yeah.
I think I could, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, people have their own styles. Brady always has something freaky to say on this podcast about cherry and blueberry filled donuts. I don't. That's
Why
my
is that
least.
freaky? Why is that weird?
Whether it's desserts or anything with like fruit in it.
There's no fruit in it. It's just flavored.
Yeah, the flavor. I don't do the fruit.
You've never had a cherry donut?
Nope, or cherry pie. I mean, I've had pie before.
Jen really likes she really likes the maple syrup flavored donuts. You guys ever had those?
Yeah, I like
That's like Jesse's favorite. We always get also. It's not a donut, but every time we go, if they have it, we get apple fritter.
I like a good apple fritter.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, you're going to take the lead on this. This is a stat you kind of uncovered the other day, and I think it's really interesting to talk about, and then it's going to lead into our next thing that I have a little would you rather question for everyone.
Yeah, so I think the big thing right now, like we hear from this is more if you're a home buyer. Like, look, we get it. Rates aren't 2 and 3%. But I also remember when rates were 2 and 3%. And we've talked about this before on here. You were giving up a lot of stuff to get, that 2 and 3%. You were giving up inspections. You were giving up even a chance to think about if you want the house because things were moving so fast. If you were a buyer but you had a home to sell, good luck getting your subject to sale offer accepted in that environment because there's just too much demand. So where are we at right now? We're in a market that's kind of it's really neutralized, for lack of a better word, or leveled out. There's something for everybody right now. And I was curious, because I talked to other agents. What can we do to move stuff? And the numbers have changed a little bit. Obviously, I posted this last week, but it was weird that at the time I pulled it in the Des Moines Area Association of Realtors, DMAR, and our MLS, we had exactly one half on the nose. 13, I think it was 1934 to 1934 of the active homes had a price reduction, to the tune of about $11,000, which probably comes out to 11% from the original list price. And then I took it even a step further. In the last 6 months, what was it taking for homes to sell? And it was 82.2% of homes had a price reduction before they sold. And so the point of that is, hey, we have to listen to the market. Homes aren't appreciating like they were a couple years ago, where they were, 1 year, I think it was 22% they appreciated. Then it was 15%. A normal appreciation is 2 to 3% in a healthy market. That's still about what they are. And so I think as a seller, you just have to be aware of that, know what the market's telling you. And then as a buyer, get in before, they're at their bottom dollar and get some credits where you can use it towards a rate buy down. And you can use that rate buy down to get a lower rate for a year or two and weather the storm, weather the high rate environment, because we do believe the rates are going to come back down, settle probably somewhere in the 4s at some point. Is it this year? No, it might be the end of next year, but by 2027, that's kind of where they think they're going to be. And so, we're not fortune tellers. We don't have a crystal ball. I was also told rates would never get lower than 3%. They did. So we just don't know. But where we're at right now, it's just everything that's selling on average is having a price reduction. And I posted yesterday, there's 255 homes that have been on the market for 90 days or longer, that had price reductions by about $50,000 as a median, which is a crazy number. It's about 13% from the original list price. And so, that's, again, I'll let you guys chime in on this, but if you're thinking, you're going to wait this thing out, just know that if rates come down, prices go up. That's just the way the market works. It doesn't, it's one, and in Des Moines, believe it or not, as rates have gone up, prices have still gone up. And so if you're thinking prices are going to come down, they're just not. There's an opportunity for people right now to get deals, for everybody to win, to have, when rates were 2%, buyers were saying, hey, we'll fix the AC. We don't care. We just want to get this house. Whereas now, that cost you money. And then, now you offer on a house and you can say, hold up, I want the seller to fix this. Yeah, your rate's a little higher, but you're not taking on all the risk like you were 4 years ago in exchange for a low rate. So numbers don't lie, stats don't lie, market doesn't lie. This is where we're at. So,
and I think shopping in a market like this is just less stressful too, because I think about 2021, buyers would have to go see a house, and in most cases they would have to decide that night if they're going to offer on it, whereas now it's a lot more there's still multiple offer situations. In some cases they're way less common.
Yeah, I remember we were in one house. I remember the buyer, Tyler and I had showed her, we probably wrote 11 offers for her. That's how it was getting to that point. Come on, there's got to be something. We were taking our shoes off in this. It was a split foyer, taking our shoes off. And the agent texts me, I already have offers. Are you guys going to offer? It's we haven't even taken our shoes off. We had a multi-bid situation last night on a house where there was an offer before we got to look at it. We were the second people looking at it, and we won. but the buyers were ready. They knew that, and we talked through an offer. We made a competitive offer that was good for everybody. So,
yeah. And I think when people see stats like this and headlines like this, I think they assume that prices are going to start to dip and like this is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. And I would kind of, if you're looking in central Iowa, I would kind of stress to people that we've never really seen anything like that in this market, even in one of the biggest housing crashes that the US has ever seen in 08. The Des Moines market really didn't see that big of a depreciation.
actually, I think the prices still went up. They weren't by much. Everywhere else, there was East Coast, West Coast home prices were crashing. We went up in value still.
Yeah.
So Des Moines kind of exists in a vacuum. Like when they say like, oh, markets are terrible right now. Like Des Moines is really different. We kind of talked about that last week. Like the East Coast isn't the same as us. We're the only, there's only the three highest states who have like an A rating by realtor.com for housing affordability. Iowa's the only one in north of the Mason-Dixon line. And yes, home prices are more than they used to be here, but they're still very affordable.
Tyler, anything that comes to mind when you see a stat like this, or?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd share this if we had like 1,000 weekly listeners. Maybe we'll get there someday, but I feel comfortable sharing right now. A good example of this in real time, we have a listing right now that we originally listed for a certain price and didn't get any action on it. And then immediately within like a week, he wanted to lower it 10 grand. Originally, he kind of listed a little bit higher, and we agreed that he would lower it if the showings didn't result in an offer. So he lowered it 10 grand. Right away, we got an offer. Then some stuff came up, and the house came back on the market, and we got another offer that was way too low, but the seller is willing to go lower than the price he just reduced it to and got an offer for, and give some credits and work with them on a couple of different repairs and stuff that they called out at the beginning. So again, that just wasn't a thing 3 years ago when interest rates are low, like Andrew was saying. And from my perspective, like my seller is pretty content with giving the buyers a deal in my eyes, at least, and trying to make things work with them. And that's a huge advantage. You are like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, buyers were disposable to sellers. And today, I would say the real estate market here overall is healthy. Stuff is moving and shaking, or it's not nearly as bad as it could be. But sellers genuinely care about buyers now, like individual buyers. And so we're finding situations where whether it's price or credits or repairs or closing dates or, possession after the fact, after closing, so you can facilitate your move a little bit better. We're able to just work through those things and actually see what matters to buyers. And that can be really, really comforting. I kind of like think of it almost like 3 years ago when people would want to go house shopping, it was like the stereotypical husband that gets dragged to the mall and they just like sit on the couch outside the store and hate their time shopping. But now, if the payments make sense and all that stuff and the money makes sense and you're staying within your budget, it's like, let's go shopping. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the stereotypical group of girls going shopping now, super excited to go look at stuff, try stuff on, and buy a couple of different things. It's just a different vibe, home shopping.
Yeah.
As long as the monthly payment makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the big thing too. Like if the monthly payment makes sense and you get a good deal on a house below market value, or you get a good deal that they give you, that they fix everything that comes up with an inspection report and stuff like that, so you don't have any concerns for the first few years. Long term, if interest rates go down when we think they're going to go down, you're going to put yourself in a really, really good situation, because if they do at the end of 2026 or in 2027 get down to 5.5, we've seen statistics show that all these buyers are going to flood back into the market, and we're going to have very similar issues to what we had in 2021, 2022. So I think it's a really, really good opportunity. Brady, does anything come to mind with this stat that we haven't already said? I know Andrew, Tyler, and I talked for a long time already.
I mean, just in regards to rates, I feel like if you're someone who's waiting a year out for rates to go down to something like 4%, one, you're going to have so much more competition. And by the time that happens, the house price, like houses always appreciate. And now you have low rates, so it's a seller's market, and then they're going to overprice their home. So it's like the gap from here starts to get here, and now you're paying for more than what you would have at a maybe something that seems like a higher rate 3 years before. So,
and you have to live somewhere this whole time you're sitting there and waiting, you know?
Exactly. So are you just throwing that money away? Or, I mean, that's just what sticks out to me is I think people forget that house prices 99% of the time always going to go up, even if it's just by a little bit each year. And then you add the every single buyer flooding the market. It's not really going to help your case, but you are getting a lower interest rate. So,
and unfortunately, I think there's a lot of would-be buyers out there in the market. I just saw a survey. I wish I could remember the exact percentage, but there's still a certain population of the world that thinks once rates get better, they're going to go all the way down to 3, and that's just not going to happen. So, like, if you're waiting for that, you're not going to ever buy, like, essentially. So it's just, or at least it seems very, very unlikely. So
yeah. And I like the point that you brought up too about like the stressfulness of it all. Like if you're waiting for that, and especially kind of now where rates haven't been what people want them to be for a while, and then like you said, they're going to get lower and everyone's going to flood in. It's just going to be a crazy process. But I mean, that's what some people want. So
Daniela, anything else stand out with the current market that we're in with all the price reductions?
I think everybody spoke about amazing points.
Yeah.
Something that I think we didn't mention, it's about refinancing. You always can refinance, and the price right now for a home that you actually like. You have options. You have a lot of possibilities. Credits, you can use a lot of credits. Something that you don't like about the house, you can actually upgrade instead of just repairing. You can actually get some credits to upgrade a little bit your home to make it more for your liking, and then just refinance whenever the rates go down. So
yeah, I get kind of a pit in my stomach whenever I tell people like, well, yeah, like just in 1 or 2 years, rates are going to go down to a point where you can refinance, because we don't know for sure, but we do know that if you look at the last 10, 15 years, that they're high if you look at it compared to the last 10, 15 years. So realistically, they're going to go down. We just don't know exactly how long it's going to take. So
I've got a few things.
Yeah.
I've got a few things. Number one, Danny has a TV screen in her refrigerator, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Two, that's like one of the biggest things with me is like there's the idea that you're waiting for a certain rate drop is just crazy to me. Again, I fully understand if I'm just not ready to commit to a house. I'm not sure if I'm going to be living in Des Moines or Citro, Iowa, or this place, wherever you're at right now, for an extended period of time. I don't have enough down payments. I don't want to take care of maintenance and stuff like that. Like those are all totally legit excuses to not buy something, and totally understandable reasons why you might not want to buy something. But the idea that you're waiting for a certain interest rate is just crazy to me. Because I'm a real estate agent, me saying that will always be kind of, to certain people, to those people that think like that, I think as like a salesy thing to say. Part of me wants to, like, not actually, but in the next life, I'm going to not be a real estate agent, but be an advocate for real estate agents and like the stuff that they say. The real estate market is similar to the stock market in the sense that you can build long-term wealth, and there's ups and downs, but it is very, very different.
Yeah, like the ups are like this, and the downs are like this, and the ups are like this, and the downs are like this. It's not like it's a whoo.
Yeah, and you can live in your house, and like Andrew's saying, it's much more predictable growth. You can enjoy your house. You can't. And I just bought $100 worth of Apple stock. Like, yay! Now I have $100 less to spend. You know what I mean? Whereas if I spend $100 on something in my house, I can enjoy it every day. So, yeah, I wish people would stop looking at things strictly from the investment lens of how they look at their 401ks or, you know, their Robinhood accounts, because it's totally different. And yeah. And then to Brady's point about the stress thing, I'll tell you from personal experience of buying multiple homes and competing against multiple offers, and as a real estate agent where I can go in and go whenever I want. I know exactly what's going on, and it's really, really easy representing myself. That's 10 times more stressful dealing in those situations than in a situation like now. And again, from experience, that stress level, depending on your budget, is worth at least $2,000. Truly. So keep that in mind. Like, there could be like, you would pay $2,000 to not be stressed out. Trust me.
And I do want to circle back to a point that Tyler made. Like, we're not saying to stretch your budget. Tyler mentioned multiple times, like, you got to make sure with the rates that we have that it still fits your monthly budget and makes sense, and do it that way. Because if you're really, really stretching your budget, planning on interest rates going down next year, that's when you start to put yourself in a really, really bad situation. And we don't want to see any of our clients do that either. So I think that's a really good point that Tyler is mentioning.
Yeah. And another thing I just thought of, I just talked to a buddy a couple of days ago who a couple of years ago, we were looking at homes and then he just put it on hold. And I was talking to him. He's like, I want to buy a house eventually, but to be completely honest with you, I cannot afford the style of home that I want right now in terms of the finishes and things like that. I can rent this small apartment that has all those finishes in it and like gives the feeling that he wants to have while he's sitting in this living room. And that was pretty real of him to recognize that, like, he doesn't want to live below his means. You know what I mean?
Or below his standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Below his standard. Which sometimes you have to do depending on your situation when you get into home ownership. And again, if that's you, great, as long as you're aware of it.
And I've talked to multiple people too. Like, I think if there's a reason to wait, it should be something in your personal life. You shouldn't be waiting for external factors to make the decision to buy. You shouldn't be waiting for home prices to go down. You shouldn't be waiting for interest rates to go down. You should be waiting because you think there's a good bonus coming for you at the end of the year.
Time in the market is better than timing the market. And again, saying that, like, I already know people are like rolling their eyes at me. Like,
if you know you want to buy, you should figure out a way to do it as soon as possible. So on that conversation,
since you mentioned the rates, I will point out Green State, I think, is one of the lowest rates. Them and Community Choice are usually right in line with each other. They're at 6.375 today. I think a week and a half ago it was 6.8, almost 7. So they've come down quite a bit in just the last 2 weeks. I think the market's moving that way. So they keep coming down. These homes that are on the market right now are going to disappear. So get in on it.
It's a beautiful weekend to look at houses, and Danny's available to show you.
That's okay. So true. I am.
So I got a little bit of a would you rather set up here. So it seems like our market has somewhat shifted. A lot of markets that we're in right now are either neutral markets, barely sellers markets, and some of them are either even buying markets. And I was thinking about people that currently own a home, but know in 2 to 4 years, let's say 2 years, they want to upgrade and buy something different. So I was thinking, would you rather, as a seller, sell and buy in a market like we're in now, or like we were in 2021, where it was a strong seller's market and everything like that? So basically, would you rather take advantage of the advantages we have buying now, or would you rather take advantage of a strong seller's market? Brady, you want to start?
It's a good question. Well, I mean, there's pros and cons to each. You're going to sell your house for a little bit more, but then the house you buy is going to be a little bit more.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
I'm
personally, just off the time.
I'm proud of you, Brady. That was a good answer.
Thank you.
That's what I would have said.
Well, yeah, I mean,
what would you rather personally do though? Because I mean, that seller's market is really tempting because the
Exactly.
timeline.
That's the point. You're going to get that. I mean, I think, yeah, to me, that's really tempting. Unfortunately, on the flip side, you're going to be buying a more expensive home, but
your
yeah,
timelines are a lot quicker. You know you're going to list and you're going to be able to sell it within a week.
Where it's like you're gonna have the ability to sell this pretty quick because you know obviously all the buyers. So I think I would probably go for that.
Daniela?
Depends on what position I am. I think what Brady said is perfect, but if I am in my temporary home that is not my dream home and I'm ready to move to my forever home or my dream home, 100% sell and buy it. But if I am already, if I don't have a lot of options and I'm at a point in my life that I'm ready to buy my dream home, my forever home, and I want to have options to buy it, I will prefer this market. But if I'm just trying to take advantage of the market, I would prefer the other market.
Yeah.
So I would say it depends in what stage of my life I'm at.
It probably depends on what you're looking to buy as well, too. Because like you said, if you're looking for that forever home, that dream home, this type of market is great because you know the homes are going to sit longer. You're going to be able to look at a lot of different stuff. You're going to be able to be more patient. Whereas in the market you were in before, I had situations where people were off in 2021. I had situations where people were offering on homes that was like an 8 out of 10, but they were just offering on it because they were really, really looking to get something. Whereas in this market, they might be waiting for that 10 out of 10 and trying to be more patient. So, Tyler?
I'm going to say the market we're in right now, I'd rather sell and buy. Again, a lot of it has to just do with my current situation. Like if I wanted a new build for my next home, brand new construction home, buying in the seller's market from a couple years ago would be just fine because new construction stuff was still moving pretty quick, but you did kind of have some options out there. But given my situation right now, if I were to sell this house, I know that I'm gonna price it appropriately. I'm not gonna overprice it, and I know that it's pretty well taken care of. And the things that need to be done, like replacing the nasty carpet upstairs, I would do, and this house would sell pretty quick. On the flip side, the next house that I want is one of those things where I don't want a new construction house, and I want something that is maybe a little bit unique. So again, I have the time to look around, weigh my options, and I think the next home that we would buy in my current situation, in my family's current situation right now, would be our forever home, or at least our really long time home. Whereas we bought this thinking 6 years. I mean, we only have 3 bedrooms. So the next time we have a kid, we want to at least have a guest bedroom because we have people visit a lot and stuff like that. So whenever the good Lord blesses us with that, we're probably going to be in the market. And
I know a good real estate agent.
We're in this market right now. So,
Andrew?
I think it depends, right? Because like I mentioned earlier, when rates were 2% and 3%, if you had a house to sell, but you had to sell it in order to purchase, you didn't really stand a chance unless you just had your house sold first before, but then you're running the risk of not being able to find a house that you like. Whereas now you're in a market where, and to everybody's point, back then you could sell it for, Tyler and I were we're selling stuff all the time, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking price. Well, we were legit surprised. We're like, man, we thought we priced this high. And we're still getting way over. And so, yeah, you're getting more as a seller, but then you got to turn around and, pay a similar appreciation on the purchase. The best thing you can do right now, I would say, if you're a home seller, get a home equity line of credit so that you can use that equity. And if you're in a position where you can show that you can make 2 monthly mortgage payments, you can take your HELOC and you can use it as a down payment on your home you're buying and not have to be subject to sale. And then when you sell your other house, you can recast your loan and it changes your amortization schedule so that your payment changes. So, but if you're in a situation where you really can't sell or really can't buy unless you sell your home, this is the best market for you because sellers are taking subject to sale offers. Then you can hedge your risk because if you don't get what you need out of your house, you don't have to buy the house.
Yeah.
You can get out of it. So that would again, to Daniela's point, it kind of depends on your situation, but I think, like I said, if this is the great time, if you have a home to sell and you have to sell it in order to buy, take advantage of what's going on right now. How about you?
I am of the belief that a lot of people get caught up when it comes time to sell of this is their opportunity to make money. But I believe that when you buy the house is when you build in a ton of the equity as far as the offer you get accepted. And if you have a good agent behind you that gets you a good deal on the place, there's situations where I've had appraisals come back for $12,000 more than what our accepted offer was. So that was just instant equity that my clients already had. And there's situations where they've been in the house 3 or 4 years now and they're still building that equity. So I would rather buy in a market like this and sell my place that I'm currently in. I hope that when it comes time for me to sell this place that it doesn't get crazy like it did in 21, 22. And I kind of had you guys talk about two separate ends of the spectrum. Realistically, if we were all to give an answer, I bet we would all just take more of a neutral market, But yeah, I would rather buy in a market like this.
Yeah, a few more points. Andrew made a great point about the HELOC. That's like one of the most underappreciated or underutilized things that you can do if you're selling a house and buying a new one, is to just borrow against your house before it sells for the down payment on the next spot. That's something I just literally wrote down. I'm gonna make a video about it this afternoon, so y'all stay tuned to that. But I think it all kind of depends on if you're selling a house, kind of your current state of your house. If your house needs some work, if it will need a bunch of buyers to look at it to sell, if it's a funky house, or it's kind of run down, or not run down, that's not the right word, but has some deferred maintenance on it, stuff like that, you would definitely prefer that seller's market. But homes that are well kept, well maintained, well updated, priced right in good areas are still selling really quick today. Again, Andrew offered on a house yesterday and there was another offer on it. So good homes or high quality homes that are priced well are still selling super fast today. So you still see some of that benefit of like the quick movement. Again, it might not be 4 offers within 24 hours, but you sell the house within 14 days. Historically, that's still super, super fast. And then number 2, along those same lines, like sellers today are still seeing the benefit of the price boom from a couple years ago, comps still based off of, the houses that sold a couple years ago, because each new house uses the last house as a comp. You're just not seeing, again, the 20, 30, 40 grand over asking price. And you're not seeing the thing where we're like, well, the comps say it's 250, but there's going to be 40 buyers looking at this thing, so we could push to 270. Like, you just can't do that anymore. You have to price at what the comps suggest. And when you do that, you're still going to get all the benefits from a seller's market if you're a seller.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
And I think what's happening a lot right now, and a lot of the reason that we're seeing the stat that Andrew pulled together is, every time a real estate agent does comps, realistically, they're giving the sellers like a range of possibilities. And in the markets that we've been in the last few years, a lot of them are deciding to list to the top of that range when just realistically, the market that we're in right now just doesn't support it continuing to keep going up and keep pushing the top of those ranges, especially if your house is not in like that 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 shape. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we nailed it. I think this is all good stuff that, again, it's to Tyler's point, like it's easy for us to sit here and say this stuff. I have a 2.1% interest rate, but I can tell you, I just promise you, when it was in that environment, like I remember we weren't writing, low ball offers. Like we're writing offers that were what?
Nothing.
You
We
were
weren't
frozen
writing.
a little bit.
I was frozen.
Yes.
We weren't writing offers that were low balls. Like we're writing strong offers, and we, and so when you're working with all these buyers and their offers aren't getting accepted, they have to keep looking. Like it just became kind of frustrating to get deals put together, and it was hard. And so I'm just telling you, like this, if you're on the fence about buying, talk to us. Like we shoot from the hip, and I mean that. Like the last thing we want to do is convince you to do something you don't want to do, because the second something's wrong, that's a for right or for wrong, it's a reflection on us, and we don't want that.
I will also say too, we have multiple lender partners that are going to do the right thing too, and not get you approved for a situation that isn't going to work out for you. I mean, I know personally Jared Nicolaisen, I've sent people to him, and he said, you know what, realistically, if you do this, this, and this, you're going to be in a much better position in 6 to 8 months. It's not like we're sitting here trying to get you to buy something today. We're sitting here to put you in the best position for like a long-term thing.
And the thing that Jared does, I think that's really good, is he won't put you in a position that that you don't, that it doesn't work for you. Like he's going to work with you to help create habits and practices so that when you do get that loan, like it's much more manageable for you, because you've been working towards getting that loan. Like you've created spending habits, you've set money aside, like you're just in a better situation. But you can't start those things until you talk to somebody, till you kind of know what to do. Because sometimes paying off all your debt isn't the answer to getting a better deal. Sometimes a lender might restructure that debt and say, no, don't do that, do this. So talk to the people that do this on a daily basis. That's not us. Like we're not the loan officers. We can connect you with those people. But
yeah, Jared told a client of mine the other day that he can approve them for whatever amount they want if they buy his course and pay 4 simple payments of $250. Whatever you want.
That's a joke. Tyler's joking.
Jared's great at his job.
Okay. Well, guys, I think this was another great episode. So thank you to everyone that was watching and listening. And in the description there's a link to follow us on all sorts of different platforms. So be sure to check that out. Thank you.